Welcome back. The U.S. labor market showing signs of stabilization in January. In fact, it was a good number. Non-farm payrolls were up 130,000 for the month, while the unemployment rate edged lower to 4.3%. Healthcare, construction, and social assistance sectors led the job gains. But an annual revision revealed a more cautious backdrop. Just 181,000 jobs were added in all of 2025, marking one of the weakest years for job growth in decades. Joining me now is Korn Ferry Vice Chairman Alan Guarino. Alan, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And I know that you described this as a K-shaped labor market. One area is going up, the other area is going down. Tell us more.
Well, so let's think about what's happened in the last year. We had exceptionally solid GDP growth. GDP grows in two ways, either more productivity or more labor added into the system, and ideally a balance of both. Well, when you have GDP growing at, let's say, 2.5 to 3% over the course of a year, historically, we would expect to add anywhere from 700,000 to a million plus jobs. Last year, we added 180,000. So we grew without adding a lot of labor, which means that it was a productivity-led situation.
Yeah.
We had a lot of hiring that occurred post-COVID. Companies were rich with people, and therefore they were able to absorb additional work without adding more people. So at some point now, things will swing.
I see. And then I always add to the conversation AI, because people are worried that they're not sure if their jobs are going away because of artificial intelligence. Younger generations are rethinking their career paths. Millennials and Gen Zers are saying that they're willing to walk away from their current jobs over dissatisfaction with work environments. Mark, jump in here.
Yeah, I mean, well, and who knows what their expectations are. I mean, they probably think they can go and drive Uber and make just as much money at this point in time because of the gig economy. So that's certainly a headwind as well. But, I agree. I think, during the pandemic, companies wanted to hire as much as possible. There was a lot of payroll bloat. But we've also heard about AI killing the middle-class, white-collar, middle manager positions for the most part, and that's something that we have to kind of brace ourselves for over the course of the next several years. But I also believe that we are now entering this time frame, where maybe over the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to see fewer jobs added. We're going to see more economic growth through productivity that comes from AI. And I'm wondering if 130,000 last month jobs added was like what 230,000 used to be a couple years ago before AI.
Could very well be. We talked about this with the Korn Ferry article of what happened to climbing the corporate ladder, Maria, when you just talked about the millennials, and Mark, when you talked about those middle managers, which are largely Generation X, and some of the millennials are coming in. The reality is that AI is going to impact, but it's going to impact a few more years than it is now. Everyone wants to say, oh, this is AI. It's not yet AI. As a matter of fact, AI is, in many ways, raising the level of work that junior level people are getting to do. For example, would you rather pound out a spreadsheet for 16 hours a day? Or would you want to do that for a few hours a day with the help of AI and then go out and see clients with a senior leader who's going to mentor you and bring you out and have you do that kind of work?
But to that point, what I'm hearing from like banks, financial institutions, is that they are still hiring analysts, for example, for those entry-level jobs, but they're not hiring quite as many. They're not going up every year as they used to because they're pretty sure that they don't need as many because of exactly that they're farming out that kind of low-level entry work to AI. Can I also question you, though, on this? Certainly, there's been a huge number of immigrants in the country leaving. So it seems to me on the bottom end of the work scale, you have a lot of people who are hourly laborers leaving the country. Numbers are down. And then at the top end, the college graduates, you also have just a limited growth. I mean, so it seems very reasonable to me that we have a pretty constrained labor market going forward.
And let me just add what Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, says. He says AI is now writing much of his code, the code at the company, and that he's publicly predicted that AI will eliminate 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs within 1 to 5 years. This is from the CEO of Anthropic.
Right. He's been talking about that for the last year, and it's not yet borne out, and predictions are predictions. There's other people saying, quite frankly, that higher-order work will come from this, and that people will actually have more opportunity for a period of time.
And what about Liz's point on the banks?
Liz, the banks are interesting. At the end of the day, I'm frank, I've got a client that's actually hiring the same number of analysts, and what they're going to do, very interesting stuff. Talent strategy here. Again, great leadership does this. They're going to take that analyst, and they're going to accelerate that analyst's development. So they said, look, 6 years down the road, we'd expect analysts to be doing this. We're going to find a way to have them do it 18 to 24 months down the road because, by the way, we don't want to create a bubble in the talent pipeline. We're going to need experienced senior people.
Right.
If we don't hire them now, then we're not going to have them later. It's a conundrum. It's complicated. Business is complicated. Great leaders figure it out. The smart ones that get it right are going to win.
Tell you what, you find me some people that are entry level, that can run a spreadsheet, that can also go out and talk to a client effectively. Those are two skill sets that don't always.
This is a good question, and Alan just wrote an entire book about it.
Absolutely.
What are the skill sets that our audience needs to make sure that they bone up on right now to not just survive but thrive this complete change in our economy that's underway?
Absolutely. As I've said to my friend Dan Goleman, who's the father of EI, in the age of AI, EI will be more critical. Mark, you're absolutely right.
Emotional
intelligence, EQ, relationship skills, people skills. I hate to say it, people call them soft skills.
So get off your iPhone, actually communicate with people. Is that a good idea? There's an amazing thought. Yeah, exactly.
Like bedside manner that a doctor has.
There you go. And by the way, years ago we would say, show me an analyst who has strong people skills, and I'll show you the future head of investment banking.
Yeah.
Okay, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. Alan, great to get your take on all of this. Congrats on the book.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for being here. We'll take a break. When we come back, crypto. We are taking a look at prices down 50% from the highs as stocks this morning also pull back. NASDAQ down 217. We're talking with the CEO of FG Nexus Digital Assets. Maya Vujonovic is here on what's driving this. Next. Stay with us.